called Living Hope, we continued to focus in the main point of this entire series that was the living hope of Jesus doesn't just change what we believe, it actually defines who we become. And our focus in particular was out of 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 13 through 25. And the title of this section is called Be Holy. This section is in reference actually to the previous section talking about salvation. It talked about sanctification and the process of that. Talked about the inheritance of salvation that is to be received. And Peter actually references Leviticus chapter 11, verse 44, which says, "Be holy because I am holy," is what God is saying here. And that phrase in particular can sometimes be a little problematic as we try to interpret that, and often can interpret that as we need to be perfect. We can't mess up. Yes, there's God's grace, but we have to be perfect in what we do, because if not, the light of Jesus isn't going to shine like it needs to. While there is some merit to that, we need to keep in mind the bigger picture of what it means to be holy, because similar to salvation, holiness is not something that you and I have the capacity to earn, right? Holiness is actually a characteristic of who God is. And like salvation, holiness is first something that is received from God. Think about the relationship between a parent and a child for a moment. The child learns what it looks like to live based upon the instruction of the parent and how the parent models that in his or her own life. Now that can be both exciting and also problematic at the same time. But when the child lives in a way or does something that the parent instructs them not to, they'll be received with punishment, hopefully some grace, but both of those things are actually rooted in love for the betterment of the child. Though the child might receive punishment or a consequence for a negative action, it doesn't negate any of the positive actions that that child has accrued over the number of years in the past. And so why does the child want to naturally follow the parent or learn from the parent? Because that child wants to please the parent. It's innate within them. It's to want to be like the parent, right? There is a healthy respect and fear, if you will, of the parent's authority. That is a good thing to be able to have. There's a deep and emotional connection from the parent to the child. Our personal actions and choices in our pursuit of holiness should mimic that of a relationship of a parent and a child. We should seek to model our lives after God because of our love for Him and due to the fact that He loved us first. It's because of our faith and hope is in Him giving up His life for us, His guidance in our life, the love that He has for us and will continue to have for us. We can have that reverent fear, as Peter talks about, that influences our actions to seek to live as God desires for us to live. And Peter tells us that it's because of our love for God that then will overflow into our love for other people. And when we love other people from the overflow of our love from God, God gets the glory and God gets the honor, which lasts forever, as opposed to us seeking the glory and the honor for ourselves, which is only temporary. So a few questions to think about or to process in a group setting is first, what do you think it means when God says, "Be holy because I am holy"? And question 2, how can our pursuit of holiness sometimes become self-centered? And question 3, in what area of your life is God calling you to further embrace His holiness?